you are in this globe, I am Rose Smith, the Events and Community Manager at FemPalette. FemPalette is a global mentoring platform helping not only women grow in their careers. We currently have over 1,000 global mentors who are working with FemPalette. FemPalette's mission is to help develop talents and give everyone the practical skills they need to thrive in their roles. We organize events and conferences and create educational resources for the community. So if you're not part of the community yet, I encourage you to join. I'll send the link to our website on the chat shortly. Today, I am pleased to welcome you to our event on leadership versus expertise, navigating career paths. With us today are Diana Bonchar, internal communications consultant and trainer and co-founder at Inco Club. Milos Djurkovic, managing partner at AMROP Serbia. Michaela Malatin, Senior Tech Program Manager at Red Hat, and Mateo Pescarin, Senior Engineering Manager. To begin our conversation, I thought it would be best to ask our panelists to tell us a little bit more about themselves in order to give you a better feel of where they're coming from when answering our questions. We can start with Diana, followed by Milos, Michaela, and last but not the least, Mateo.
Hi, hello, my name is Diana Bonchar, and as Rose already mentioned, I'm an internal communications consultant. I help corporates, global international companies, especially shared service centers and GBS, to set up their strategic communication and to communicate their purpose, strategy, key projects, so that they achieve their business goals with the highest employee buy-in that is possible. I currently work closely with Mannhummel. That's a German company that produces filters, and I'm part of the senior leadership team for a global network of their shared service centers. Yes, and just to mention a note about Inco Club that I co-founded with the colleague that is here in the call, Zuzka Pospisilova. So that's a community that we're building in the Czech Republic to help internal communicators to develop, to connect more. Yeah, so that's an additional thing. Thank you.
Good evening to everybody. My name is Milos Djurkovic. I'm managing partner in AMROP. We are an executive search and leadership advisory company, focusing on finding the best executive resources to our clients and also to advise leadership and also boards into the transformation. Prior to that, I spent almost 30 years in the mainly ICT management, being general manager of a couple of different multinational companies, IBM, Hewlett-Packard, and Cisco. Also, I was in the couple of boards, non-executive as a non-executive director, and also voluntary participation in the many different boards. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening or good morning, wherever you are in the world right now. My name is Misha Malatin, and I'm based in Brno, and I'm Senior Program Manager Technical in Red Hat, which is basically the biggest competitor for ChatGPT right now. We're also looking into AI and machine learning opportunities. We are the biggest open source company in the world, and the best one, of course. So my goal, what I do, is working on strategies, work with the software teams, and like delivering the solutions for our customers, which are public or also private companies. At the same time, I co-founded Holkiv Crypto, so I'm really big enthusiast for the blockchain. Everything goes around the blockchain, the open source communities, increasing awareness of education about these fields, and mentoring in FemPalette as well. And also I founded NFT Insights with a few of my friends, and we are building amazing projects around that.
And last but not least, that's me. Hi and welcome everybody. My name is Matteo Pescarin. I am, as you probably guessed, originally from Italy, but now living abroad since 2009. I lived 10 years in London, and around 2019 I moved to Berlin. I am a web developer at core. I've been in the industry for about 25 years, more or less. And since 13 years now, I've been taking more leadership roles and currently holding officially an engineering manager role. And that's pretty much what I do. And of course, my responsibility range from purely technical expertise, bridging the gap between product and engineering, but also there's a lot of coaching and mentoring that I also do. Also being part of Panelist, so helps in that direction.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for telling us a little bit about yourself and your field and the other things that you do aside from the roles that we've indicated in the event description. So let's dive in. To begin our discussion, I thought it would be best for you to share with the audience what motivated you to pursue your current career path, whether it's leadership or expertise, or what we've talked about prior to having the audience enter, that a lot of you take on two hats, actually both leadership and expertise, and how that choice has impacted your professional journey. So let's begin with Milos, followed by Michaela, Matteo, and then Diana.
Thank you. So for me, it was relatively easy because since my young days, I was somehow oriented to technical things, natural sciences and technical. So I like math, physics, and somehow in the early stages of my scholarship, I decided to go to study electrical engineering. When I finished electrical engineering, everything what I want to be good engineer, to like engineer, and I started my career working an engineer, and somehow through the different phases of my work, I passed to the. I was in the research and development, manufacturing. Somehow I moved to the sales because I'm pretty much extrovert and oriented. So I moved to the sales. After that, naturally to the management, and after that, I specialize for the different leadership roles in the big companies.
So my field of study is business economics, and the part which I was interested in was the project management. So I started my career as a project manager, and in the startups I used to work, it was about UX, UI, backend, and frontend, and I found a love for the backend and for the software, how the software is built. All the life cycle of the project was interesting for me. And then I found Red Hat, which I really found very interesting. And in the way how the open team framework is implemented, how the teams are working. So this was the career path I wanted to pursue, like combine being like leader, like working with the teams, move them forward, encourage them to become better, more efficient, and also see how these life cycles are building. So this is the field. And in terms of the communities, I really like empower other people around me. So when there was opportunity for mentoring for Panelist or building the community around Hooked Crypto or NFTs, all these like per bono, how we said, like in the previous discussion we had, is something that fulfills me like from the inside. It is something I have the calling like that, to get together people who can teach about these things, myself as well, and make people more confident around me in the roles they do.
Well, I guess that's my turn. That's an interesting one because I started my career in as a web developer. Effectively, my first job was as a web designer. I have a background since early age to be very interested into graphic arts. And that got me to understand a little bit better. I ended up starting university, but effectively dropping off university straight away and founding a small company with a colleague of mine. Web design was the thing that, because I didn't know programming back then yet, that allowed me to get into the business, understanding how things are working. That reeled me into programming, understanding it better, and that later on helped me get into actual finish university, getting all the basic foundations that I probably needed very much. But then later on, this, as I was saying, I did the switch getting into leadership. And with leadership, that was very much pure chance. I was offered a position for as an individual contributor in a company that allowed me effectively to have full flexibility of doing however I wanted. They had no idea how to do web development. And I ended up setting up all the infrastructure, hiring people, effectively setting up the whole web department. And I stuck to that, and I keep on having the same, keep on doing leadership, engineering management related roles, because I think I felt very much disillusioned with at the time with how management was done, how many bad bosses I had. Yeah, that was precisely trying to solve my own problem, doing therapy on myself.
Okay, and when it comes to me, then I have to say that actually, like in high school, I started in mathematics and physics, and then I went for literature and languages, right, to study that. So I think at that point, I realized that I need a bit different type of creativity that comes more from working with the language. And during my studies, I had a chance to choose as my leading stream social communication. So I've learned what like how to use those skills in business. So that's when I realized that that this is what I want to do. It took a while before I landed in internal communications, but once I did, I knew, okay, that's exactly what I want to do. And while I was doing this and learning on the job as well, then I realized at some point that very often I'm actually leading a group of people to do something together, because very often it's a one-man band, like you're a single person very often when you're doing internal comms, but you're not alone because you work with people across the organization and you really have to lead them. So I realized, okay, that's an interesting addition. Let's see how I can develop that side as well. And that has led me to having my own internal comms team, building that one, and also learning how to work with senior leadership. And step by step, I managed to join that team and explore this leadership part even more. But I never gave up on expertise. That's something that I really enjoy, and I think in my area, combining those two things really makes sense.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing kind of the motivations behind your career path. Somebody in our audience wrote actually in the chat that she is rethinking her career path, and hopefully this webinar would help her decide where she's going to go. So just no pressure. But my next question is, was there like a pivotal moment, like perhaps something that our audience member is currently feeling, a pivotal moment that you had to make a decision whether you're going to stick to expertise or you're going to go in a leadership role? And how did you approach this decision? I think some of you have already touched upon it in your answers previously, but perhaps you could elaborate what kind of decision-making process you took during this pivotal moment. So let's start with Michaela, Mateo, Diana, and then Milos.
Thank you. So, honestly, I didn't have any like really strict pivotal moment. I had one period of my life when I was 1 year after the college. I was cabin crew for Emirates, and I knew it's not the thing for me. I didn't want to give like chicken or beef in the plane, even though it was very exciting role. I came back and realized this is not something what I would like to do, and I will continue with the studies I did about the project management and such. So I had quite path created like the whole life on it to go, and like building to the expertise and leadership both together to like increase the skills and be more like sellable on the market. I don't think I had any other like pivot, like maybe in Red Hat, like going to like being engineer, start learning Python, these kind of things. Like I knew this was my calling.
Wow, super interesting. Yeah, I touched upon that earlier, but to me that was very much, as I said, pure chance. Well, I like to move a little bit in a different situation that was to me absolutely pivotal, which was when I decided after I graduated to move away from my country. That to me, it's something that I now look back and, I still have people, friends and ex-colleagues that still live in my home country, and I cannot see for the sake of myself living there. Now, one of the things that I appreciate the most, having moved abroad to a more, competitive market for certain aspects, but the inclusion aspect and diversity, to me, it's something that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with before. And to me, that's from both a development, project development perspective and human perspective, it's a huge asset, massive. And like leadership wise or not, to me, that was a huge, important change.
I had, I think, two moments that I would like to mention here. One was when I was still, let's call it quite junior, right, in what I was doing. So working in internal communications, and at some point, I realized how to not only to come up with ideas. Okay, let's communicate in this and that way, and ask my bosses, right, do you like it? But coming and telling them this is the way to do that. So coming with this attitude, I'm an expert, I'm here to tell you. And once I've learned it, I saw how differently I'm treated and how seriously I'm taken. And I came with, let's say, more or less the same ideas, but the way I started presenting them changed a lot. And that pushed me, very quickly into, let's say, higher places, right, when I was like really perceived as a more senior person. So that's one thing. The other thing that really changed a lot my approach to everything was when I decided to go freelance. So instead of being hired as an employee, to really open my own business and start working as a consultant, it completely changed my approach as well and understanding the business. I don't know what happened in the meantime. I don't even fully know how that happened, but my mindset changed really completely. And again, now I see that it's much easier for me to advise anything and discuss with senior leaders, that I don't feel like an employee coming to them, that they're sitting somewhere there. No, I'm just one of them, because I also understand what it means to lead a business, right? Even though my own is small one comparing to a global organization, but that was a really, really big change, and I'm super happy that I did it.
Yeah, the key milestone in this transformation from the expert and the individual contributor to the leader is some point in time when you realize that you cannot fulfill your job without others, without your team. And as much as your team is capable to do things, you are delivering things. And there is a differentiation between the managers and the leaders, in that leaders are working more on encouraging people, on developing people to do their jobs. And that's it, So some people like to be individual contributors, some people don't want to go into the managerial, but some people want to do it because they want to be managers. But if they are really for this is a proof, this key milestone when you are becoming leader from the manager, when you realize that your main task is to develop the others.
So in the interest of time, thank you very much. For the interest of time, and jumping off what Milos said about those who choose to become experts but can't work with others, I'm going to ask Mateo specifically, someone who has transitioned from between being an expert to a leadership role. What prompted you to make this transition? Is it similar to what Milos mentioned? And how do you strike a balance between excelling in your area of expertise and taking on your leadership responsibilities?
Yeah, that's a tough one. So the transition, as I said, was, it was definitely pure chance, but what made me stick to it was definitely trying to correct all the imperfection, bad attitudes, dysfunctions that I seen in the previous managers that I had and that I encountered. I never really had an opportunity to have a mentor, for instance, for as much as I was looking for one. I met some excellent people, but that's not. They were influential, but not in that direction. I think that was mostly the reason for that. I think the keeping the balance has been tough. There is I think for me has been trying always to keep up with the latest technology, because I was distancing as I was growing in the leadership position. I was also distancing myself from the things that I was really enamored with to start with. And that is the development for me. I saw the distance from that, and throughout my career was always conflicted about leaving that aspect behind to becoming a real manager. I think there are other aspects that made sense over time for me to really stick to it, to actually say like, oh, actually this makes sense. I can actually have an influence in other aspects of my career that I didn't have before. When you were saying, it's a difficult choice to say, I want to move into, like even Milos was saying, like, there is a difficult choice. Some people are really dedicated to become a manager. Other people are, I met many direct reports that were like, should I become a manager? I think there is, and if there is an instinct, that probably that will happen over time. But maybe it's better to have a better understanding. At least looking at myself, I would have preferred to, for instance, have more support to step into the leadership position. That's for sure. And the transition has been tough, very tough, and not having anybody. It was a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes done over time because of that. And I'm sure I haven't answered your question, by the way. I probably jumped a little bit all around.
But I think that's the beauty of having a panel discussion and a Q&A after, so some people can take something out of it, then ask questions about it. So I'm going to go back to Milos, since Matteo mentioned that he wanted more support, but somebody who has been in a leadership role for quite some time and does identify strongly in a leadership role, what key qualities and experiences do you believe are essential for effective leadership, which you've probably been asked about before, and how have you developed and honed these skills?
Yeah, now we can talk. There is this when you Google the leadership, so there is this key characteristic. People are talking about many different, but I think the key things, the basis, the foundation for good leader is that you have to be authentic and that you have to have integrity. So that's the foundation for everything else. Because if you are authentic and if you have integrity, more or less you have all other attributes of the great leader. And because you have to be a role model. And you cannot be a role model if, for example, you are copy-paste, or if you are you doesn't have integrity. If you are not transparent. The clarity in communication is very important. Clarity, transparent communication, and at the end that you have to have passion, but passion is important for every job you do. That's if you do anything without passion, you are just doing things, and this is a key ingredient for the success. You have to have a passion for that, what you are doing. But integrity and authenticity, that's the, I think, key ingredients for the great leader.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. A lot of insights here on leadership and those who want to transition. Now I'm going to focus more on Diana and Michaela. You both mentioned before that you do have two hats, both leadership and expertise. So with your expertise hat, how do you define success in your field? So we kind of already talked about what makes a great leader. Perhaps this time we can talk about what makes a great expert. And I know, Diana, you already mentioned, going to your boss and telling them that you're the expert of this, but perhaps other definitions of what success and strategies that you have employed to deepen your knowledge and skills continuously, since both of you seem to focus a lot on your field?
Well, in my area, what I'm actually doing is I'm helping people to communicate, right? And for me, the success in that area is that we achieve the goal, right? Because when we plan, okay, it's not just I'm helping to spread the information, but we spread that information for something. There is some type of result, that we expect. If we achieve that, and my client, let's call it the person like that, is happy, then I have the success, right? If we achieved but the customer is not happy, there's something wrong, right? If he's happy but we didn't achieve, there's something wrong, right? So I have to have both those things. I think that's the most important. Sometimes it's my boss, let's say it. Sometimes it's some partner, whoever that person is. Yeah.
So from my perspective, it is like in terms of the expertise that you have a team and you can read between the lines and you know how to put together the team with the right skill set so you can deliver the project for the stakeholder. This is the most important thing. Also, you know how to measure success. If you are not expert in your field, or at least you don't have people around you who know the field, because you will never know everything, and it's perfectly fine. But if you know the setup, how the things should stick together like Lego bricks, then you can know how to create OKRs, how to create KPIs. All these terms I can explain later if you want, everyone. So these are important things. And also, yes, as Diana said, know the communication. You need to know who to contact for. You need to know who are the stakeholders, who are important, who are not that important, who is just should be informed about different things. So this is something that will move you into senior level area.
One more thing that maybe I will add as well, because I think it's important, is that very often when I work with someone in the preparation of the communication, then I really have to dig into their topic and understand it to be able to communicate. And very often at that point, I'm able to notice some gaps, something that doesn't really stick in the project, in the concept and so on. And if I'm able to help to fix that, and that happens really very often, then that's also something that I think every expert who is able to contribute to have a better result in the end will feel successful in what they're doing.
Great, thank you so much. These are very practical tips, both for those who are transitioning, currently in leadership roles, and in the expertise roles. So we'll move on with our panel discussion. This is the third to the last question. So if you have questions, please write them on the chat and we can ask our panelists after. Since in FemPalette we're a mentoring platform, we're quite curious how your mentors as well as ongoing learning played a role in your career. Let's start with Mateo, Diana, Milos, and then Michaela.
Yeah, mentors, as I was saying earlier, mentors has been super tough. I think, I don't know if it was a lack of support. At the end I was pushing I was really much going outside of my comfort zone as much as possible to really challenge myself in that time when I also did the transition. And when I was living in London, it was a very competitive type of environment. So growth was coming at the expense of really pushing myself beyond the boundaries that I had at the moment. So there wasn't really that safe, environment that I would prefer to have for my reports, for my team. It was, I would say, maybe more cutthroat than possible. As I said, I think I met excellent people across the way while I was looking for, the guru that would illuminate my path and my road to show me the way how to grow and become a better person. That never happened. I actually found instead some very brilliant people. Very few really I can count on the fingers of my hand, and. But these weren't appointed to be the person. That I think, if I have to take anything out of this, I think is more than anything has been growing my network and meeting people has helped tons. I've been holding meetups, organizing conferences, generically meeting people out of the blue, and out of that helped get out something that helped me see a different aspect of how things were working and so on. I probably, I'm being part of Empaletta, having had the exposure and meeting other mentors as well, helping also see different approaches, different ways of doing things. It's been very difficult. I think I always prefer, if I with my direct reports, try to suggest to get someone, an external person that helps them see a different view, whether it is the partner or a friend. It's usual to have a different voice than your own, because sometimes yours sometimes plays against yourself. That's unfortunate reality.
In my case, I never had a mentor for the expertise path, right? What I had was an informal mentoring relationship for leadership. So that was a person with whom I spoke very regularly on those topics, but we didn't do that in this formal mentoring, in this formal mentoring framework, right? It was just someone with whom it started spontaneously, and we spoke regularly for a longer time. And that really helped me to move into the senior leadership mindset as well, right? So moving from being like more of a manager, let's say, into a higher level. And I think I wouldn't be where I am without it. So that's very helpful. What also I see as helpful is being a mentor myself. So this really forces me to think some things through deeply, which I wouldn't do outside of of the situation, right? Because I get questions that I want to answer the best that I can and share my experiences, and it really makes me rethink my own experiences, my own path. And I have to say that I feel I'm growing with every mentee that I get to work with.
Next, we have Milos.
Me. I had a couple of mentors in my source, some official, some unofficial, which means, I spent, as I mentioned, 20 years in these big international, multinational corporations, and they had this mentorship program incorporated. So out of this, half of the mentors were useful, frankly speaking, because sometimes they feel it's an obligation, sometimes they are bothering with this, so, but a couple of them were really great and helped me a lot, and then we established a really good relationship, and we can say that we are now friends. Also, I had a couple of informal mentors, experienced people. You can advise somebody sometimes with them, and it was very helpful, not only for the business but also in the many other things. And that was one of the reasons why I dedicated my voluntary work to the mentorship, because I wanted to help to the young generations to have somebody who can be their body, really help them become the friend, because now a lot of people are going into the coaching, into the many different things. So mentorship and coaching, okay, in some points they are overlapping, but it's different. And for example, I never wanted to be the coach, but the mentor, yes. So not only on Empaletta, I'm also mentoring some Serbian organizations, and this reverse mentorship is a great thing. I'm working with mainly with a little bit mature people, so between 30 and 40, who are directors now in the Big Four, for example, or in some other companies. So they help me also to see how the younger generation are looking into the things, business, and they are helping me also to be still in the top page of the business, so and I can say that out of this relation with almost all of them, we are very good still now. Even when we finish the formal mentorship, we are having company together, going on the lunch or drink regularly, and we are discussing many different things.
So there's nothing much to add, I would say. All three speakers said really good points. Like what is the mentorship, what is important. Only one thing which I see very important is the goal. That like I was thinking I'm not like mentorable. I had corporate mentors as well, which sucked because as I heard, like they did it because of they were supposed to do it and such. So finally, after 4 years, like in Finland, I have my mentor, and it's because I have a special goal, which I like. I have a target, APAC, business development. I have some project I would like to help with, and the mentor can help me with this. And it's very important to divide coaching and mentoring. It's not the same. Like chatting about life is not mentoring. So if you feel that you are not sure about what you want to be in 1 year, like Michaela, how she will be in 2024 in December, you should go to coach, discuss what are the things like you have inside, some things you would like to improve or just settle because they are the way they are, and then go to mentoring. So I think Finpad has this kind of option for like mentorship programs. Go first to coach and then go to mentoring sessions, because then you will avoid this kind of like disappointment. It's not what I would like to do. Maybe we will switch. Like honestly, like all my mentees I had in Finpad, except one, they wanted to switch, complete career switch. They came for the project management, but they moved to UX, to different things. So have these two things together is very important. And having the career path is a path. It's a journey which you should go with. It's bumpy, but it's great.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing us your experiences in mentoring and even coaching, as well as ongoing learning. We'll jump into the last question, since we do have a question already from the audience. So I guess we'd like to end this panel discussion by offering some advice to early career professionals contemplating whether they should go to leadership roles or to an expertise roles. What is one advice that you could give for those who are in this kind of juncture in their lives, whether they're going to go through management or stay as an individual contributor? So, and what factors they should consider when making this decision. Let's start with Milos, Michaela, Mateo, and then Diana.
Or just repeat.
What advice would you give to young early career professionals who are considering whether they should go into leadership or they should remain an individual contributor? What factors should they consider if they are in this juncture in their career?
Oh, that's definitely your nature. In all of us, we have a fight between the ambition and capability. And some people have ambition and want to be the leaders, to be big directors, big managers, because, this is a big money, or this is our ego is pushing us in this. And another thing is capability. So some people can be self-evaluate themselves very well and say, okay, I'm more for the individual contributor to be the expert than for the leadership. And this is a black and white situation. The biggest problem with this gray situation, when you are between the individual. Sometimes the life is moving you. This is also not bad. You have to have control on your career, of course, but sometimes you believe that the sea is waving you, and sometimes the life will show area you are the best. So if you cannot evaluate it by yourself, if you cannot do the self-evaluation, so this is not easy. the most important thing is, again, to clarify with yourself, do you really like to be the leader? Do you really like to lead people because you like to develop people, or you like to have the big title? And that's the important. Again, if you have passion for this, and if you like to work with people, if you like to guide them, to develop them, you are for the leadership. So that's the definitely.
So I believe that even individual contributor can be a leader, because you never know who you are inspiring. Like we spoke about connection with people, networking and such. And this is some kind of like shadow mentoring. So people can observe you on social media, on LinkedIn, whenever, and they are inspired by your journey, and they would like to be like you, or they would like to reach out to you for any questions on their career path. So like you never know who are you leading, and you can be a contributor, you can be developer, very introverted, and you will be that good, and you will understand the project. You will say, okay, so these are the things which needs to be done. I don't have to like tell them what to do, but people will believe you that much that they will come and follow you. I don't have to tell them what to do, because the tractor will be given, because you know what they are supposed to do. So I think individual contributors can be leaders as well. And if you need to decide if I would like to like lead a bunch of people, or I would like to like work in expertise, it's really about like what job you would like to do. And this is something what you should know already. Like what you would like to do, if it is UX designer, if it is accountant, if it is project manager, developer, this is something you already should know. And you would just look at the career path, search some job description, what is needed for the role you would like to go for. If it's not something that resonates, if you don't have this kind of like click, just don't do it. When you know what is like ahead of you, like 1 year, like 8-mile steps, to know, okay, so this is something I maybe be able to do, I'm okay with that or not. And this is the decision between leadership and expertise, but leader can be only one person. You don't have to really strive. You don't have to go for C-level. You can be leader in your team, and it's so rewarding to be leader in the team. Even sometimes I'm much better than the C-level because it's so stressful.
Wow, super, super useful, super nice answer so far. I'm trying to, probably in my answer, I will try to tie a couple of things together. I think what basically what Milos was saying, I think is absolutely important as one part of his answer, which is about the ego. I will generalize a little bit here, and I think I totally agree with him, because there's a strong component about personal growth that plays a role in whether you're ready or not. You know, being an expert in one competence in a particular area, technical area, doesn't mean it doesn't equal you're great to lead. They're completely different things. If people, I met experts that they are very, very advanced in the technical knowledge about a certain topic. They say like, oh, I would totally would love to do, like, I can do these things. Why are people not doing this stuff? And already starting to form an opinion upon that. I think if you're getting to that point where you are on the brink of saying like, should I make the change? Should I really? I'm annoyed by the way people do these things, and I should be able to do better because I'm an expert in doing this thing. I think personally that having the right support to do the switch is absolutely important. Having someone who helps you, question and bring down a little bit your emotions to a more rational level helps a lot, because it allows you to really reflect on how you're doing. On this, I would also like to add something else, which is who was Frances Frey. One thing she was saying that a base of trust is about authenticity, logic, and empathy. Those are absolutely important aspects, key aspects that you need to develop in order to really inspire, be a true leader in an area. It's something that is very hard if you still have a lot of ego about your own personal growth and trying to succeed or excel on a particular topic, which is not bad per se. It's something that does clash quite heavily on being a true leader in terms of leading on a team, a number of people, and so on. At least that's my take.
So a gentleman mentioned ego as one of the motivators for the people. What I would mention is social or even family expectation and pressure. So maybe you had that question in your family, okay, so what opportunities to grow do you have? When can you become a manager? If you're hesitating about taking on this role, resist that pressure. Really, it doesn't make sense to take on this type of role only because your mom asks you about it, right? And I've seen people doing that because they felt like this expectation is in the air, that this is the success, definition that is there outside, and then they suffered. Don't do that. Really, don't do that. It doesn't make sense. You will hurt yourself and people around. But if you're tempted to kind of like see, that maybe, then what I would advise is first try with side projects. I don't know, like do a CSR project in your company, learn those skills outside of standard, managerial role. Take on something else, try a voluntary project, try some business project, but without becoming a line manager first. So try it out, see if it really is something that you enjoy. So then, yeah, like you can follow what Milos said, like if you feel this is something that you like doing, then yes, go that way. But try out before in a more safe environment so that you can decide consciously. And if it happens to you that for any reason you will end up in that role and you see, okay, I don't really like it, I don't think it makes sense, it's no shame to get out of that step out and become an expert again. Really, that's a sign of maturity, not failure. And it's really worth doing that when you feel, okay, this is not for me, I don't feel it makes sense. That will save you a lot of sleepless nights, and that really is a mature decision.
Thank you so much, Michaela, Matteo, Diana, and Milos. The conversation has been very insightful.